The silence of space was shattered by the arrival of the Galactic Fleet, a massive armada that slipped into Earth's solar system like a shadow cast over the stars. Hundreds of warships, their hulls gleaming with cold, unyielding metal, spread out in a formation designed to overwhelm any opponent. They were the pride of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations, an unspoken warning to any who might resist. From their command vessels, the fleet's admirals sent out a message meant to unsettle humanity: surrender or face annihilation. The ultimatum was clear, delivered in a cold and authoritative tone that echoed across communication channels. The galaxy had never encountered a species so young and seemingly unprepared for war. But on Earth, the response was not what the fleet expected. Around the world, from the bustling cities to the quiet countryside, people paused to watch the skies. News broadcasts filled every screen, showing the massive ships hanging ominously above their atmosphere. Yet, instead of fear, many saw a strange sense of curiosity and quiet amusement in the heart of a fortified underground command center. General Marcus Hale studied the holographic projections of the fleet's vessels. His steel-gray eyes narrowed, but a faint smile touched his lips. "They think size alone will make us bend," he said, voice steady and calm. "They don't understand humanity." Across the planet, leaders gathered in secure halls. Instead of issuing calls for panic or surrender, they spoke of resilience and determination. President Elise Morgan addressed the world with a tone of quiet confidence. "We will not bow to threats," she declared. "Humanity has faced challenges before and emerged stronger every time. This moment is no different." Behind the scenes, scientists and engineers worked feverishly. Earth's technological advancements had been accelerating, and now the latest innovations were ready to be unveiled. These were not the weapons of brute force, but tools of ingenuity, energy shields that could adapt in milliseconds, propulsion systems capable of unmatched agility, and communication networks that thrived on unpredictability. In a global broadcast, Dr. Nia Reyes, head of Earth's defense research, explained the philosophy behind their preparations. "We believe that true strength comes from creativity and unity. Our technology is designed not just to fight, but to outthink and outmaneuver any threat." The Galactic Fleet's commanders, watching these developments from their colossal bridge decks, exchanged uneasy glances. The reactions from Earth were unlike anything they had encountered before. Instead of submission, there was a bold confidence, a refusal to be intimidated. Then came the unexpected, a transmission from Earth, broadcast on every frequency the fleet used. It was not a declaration of war, nor a formal negotiation. Instead, it was laughter, clear, ringing, and unmistakably human. The laughter was not mocking, but defiant, a sound that reverberated through the vast expanse of space. It was as if humanity was telling the galaxy, "We see your fleet, and we are not afraid." For a moment, the fleet's bridge fell silent. The commanding admiral's face hardened. "This is not a threat," he said, voice low. "It is a challenge." On Earth, that laughter spread quickly. It became a symbol of unity and strength, a reminder that the human spirit was unbreakable. People from all walks of life found hope in that simple act, a refusal to bow to fear. General Hale prepared his forces not for surrender, but for a fight unlike any other. "They've come to intimidate us," he said. "But they don't realize we don't play by their rules." As the Galactic Fleet settled into orbit, preparing for their next move, humanity's response remained calm and resolute. They would meet the fleet not with panic or submission, but with unyielding spirit, cunning tactics, and, yes, defiant laughter. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity was not just another species to be conquered. They were a force to be reckoned with, and their greatest weapon was their indomitable heart. The Galactic Fleet had settled into a silent blockade around Earth. their imposing ships casting long shadows over the planet's surface. Their commanders were confident. Their overwhelming firepower and centuries of experience guaranteed swift compliance from humanity. Yet, as the first envoys prepared to land, they were met with a response no one had anticipated. The fleet's delegation arrived aboard sleek, heavily guarded ships, touching down near one of Earth's most fortified cities. The human leaders, instead of cowering, greeted them with calm, even warmth. Ambassador Vera Chen, Earth's chief diplomat, stood tall at the reception hall, her sharp eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and quiet defiance. The Galactic Fleet envoys expected submission. Instead, they found a species rich in culture, humor, and relentless optimism. "We come in peace," Chen began, her voice steady, "but we will never surrender our freedom." The envoys, clad in advanced armor and speaking a precise, formal language, exchanged uneasy glances. Their mission was intimidation to assert control with overwhelming force. Instead, they found humans who met their threats with unwavering confidence and an unexpected light. HEARTEDNESS. Over the next days, Chen and her team guided the envoys through Earth's cities, places alive with diversity, creativity, and innovation. They saw scientists collaborating on breakthroughs in renewable energy, artists inspiring through holographic displays, and engineers refining technologies that could rival the fleet's own. The envoys observed a society that refused to be defined by fear. Children played under the watchful eyes of drones designed for defense, while adults went about their work with determination and laughter. During tense negotiations, the fleet's leaders demanded submission and the transfer of Earth's technology. Ambassador Chen's reply was clear and unyielding. "We will share knowledge through cooperation, not coercion. We offer partnership, not surrender." A moment of silence followed, broken by an unexpected chuckle from Chen herself. The humor, so alien to the fleet's rigid command structure, unsettled their delegation. They were accustomed to fear, not laughter. Back on the flagship Endeavor, General Marcus Hale coordinated Earth's defense forces, monitoring every movement of the fleet. He saw the human spirit at work in the calm faces of his officers and crew, a force stronger than any weapon. "Let them come," Hale said quietly. "We're ready." The Galactic Fleet soon realized their intimidation tactics were failing. Humanity was unpredictable. They neither panicked nor bowed. Instead, they innovated, adapted, and pushed back with wit and resolve. The first skirmishes, brief and carefully controlled, revealed the fleet's underestimation of human ingenuity. Earth's warships, smaller but faster and equipped with unconventional technology, dodged attacks with astonishing agility. Their dark matter engines allowed for sudden bursts of speed and maneuvers that left the fleet's ships struggling to keep pace. In one encounter, a human pilot, known for his quick thinking and humor, broadcast a message during battle. "You call that intimidation? We call it a warm-up." That defiant spirit echoed throughout the fleet, sowing doubt and frustration among its commanders. Meanwhile, Earth's scientists worked alongside military strategists to develop new defense systems. Their approach was not just to match the fleet's power, but to redefine the rules of engagement. Shields that could morph their energy frequencies, drones that learned from every encounter, and communication jammers that turned the fleet's own signals into noise. As the fleet adjusted their tactics, Earth remained a step ahead. Ambassador Chen's message to the fleet was firm. "We do not seek war, but we will never be intimidated. Humanity laughs in the face of threats because we believe in our strength and our future." The Galactic Fleet found themselves facing a civilization unlike any before, one that refused to kneel. That met fear with laughter, and that fought not just with weapons, but with spirit. The stage was set for a confrontation that would redefine power in the galaxy. The solar system had never seen anything quite like the sight of humanity's response. The Galactic Fleet expected to face a frightened and disorganized opponent, but instead they encountered a civilization brimming with confidence and unyielding resolve. The Armada's commanders soon realized that their show of force had only stirred humanity's pride and ingenuity. At the heart of this unexpected strength were Earth's warships, sleek, agile vessels unlike anything the fleet had anticipated. Powered by dark matter reactors refined through years of relentless research, these ships harnessed energy in ways that defied conventional physics. They moved with speed and grace, their hulls shimmering with adaptive shielding capable of bending incoming energy around them. Commander Alina Morrow, captain of the flagship Endeavor, led the fleet of human warships with a quiet intensity. She understood that their advantage lay not only in technology, but in the human spirit, creativity, unpredictability, and a refusal to accept defeat. "Let's show them why we laugh," Moreau said to her crew as the fleet prepared for their first official display of power. The demonstration took place near the asteroid belt, a natural proving ground with ample space for maneuvering. As the Galactic Fleet watched from their massive dreadnoughts, Earth's warships sprang to life. They darted through the rocky debris with breathtaking speed, dodging simulated attacks with flawless precision, using experimental energy weapons that fired bursts of charged particles shaped by complex algorithms. The human ships disabled drones and unmanned vessels with surgical accuracy. Each move was a dance of innovation and strategy, leaving the Galactic Fleet scrambling to respond. Admiral Raxel, commander of the invading Armada, observed the spectacle with growing unease. "They are faster than we expected," he muttered, his fingers tightening on the control panel. "And their tactics, unpredictable." The humans' use of dark matter propulsion allowed them to shift vectors mid-maneuver, slipping through enemy formations like shadows. Their energy shields absorbed and redistributed attacks, often turning the fleet's own firepower back against them. But it was not just technology that made humanity formidable. Lit was their mindset, where the fleet operated with rigid discipline and adherence to protocol. Humans embraced improvisation and humor even in the heat of battle. During a live demonstration, Captain Morrow's ship intercepted a fleet signal demanding surrender. Her response was broadcast back through the communication channels. A simple phrase said with a smirk and a light-hearted tone, "You're going to have to do better than that." That defiant message spread quickly through the fleet's channels, sparking frustration and disbelief among the commanders. They had expected to intimidate humanity into compliance. Instead, they had sparked a fire. Across Earth, people watched the live feeds with pride swelling in their chests. The laughter that had greeted the fleet's arrival was now replaced with cheers and determination. Humanity was no longer the species to be feared or dismissed. They were a force, demanding respect. Scientists and engineers continued to refine their weapons and defenses. The integration of artificial intelligence with human ingenuity created systems that learned and adapted in real time. The battlefield became a dynamic environment where static strategies failed. Meanwhile, Hunnical leaders prepared for what might come next. Ambassador Vera Chen worked tirelessly to negotiate with the Galactic Council, emphasizing that humanity sought peaceful coexistence but would never be intimidated. "The strength you see is not just in our weapons," Chen said during a high-level meeting. "It is in our will to stand firm, in our capacity to laugh at fear, and in our hope for a united future." Despite their initial confidence, the Galactic Fleet's commanders found themselves questioning their assumptions. The humans were more than a challenge, they were a revelation. As the demonstration ended, Admiral Raxel convened a council of war. "We must reconsider our approach," he said grimly. "This is not a species to crush with brute force." Back on Earth, Commander Morrow prepared for the next phase. "They thought fear would break us," she said, looking to the stars. But we're just getting started. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity's dark matter warships glided through the void symbols of resilience, defiance, and the beginning of a new era. The Galactic Fleet's commanders gathered in the cold steel halls of their flagship Empyrean, faces taut with frustration. Their attempts at intimidation had failed spectacularly. Instead of crumbling beneath their overwhelming presence, humanity had met them with something they could not comprehend. Defiant laughter. Admiral Raxel stared at the communications console as a new message arrived. It was brief. A broadcast sent through every frequency the fleet used. A laughter so clear and vibrant that it echoed throughout the vast corridors of the Empyrean. The laughter was not mocking, but bold and unapologetic, a signal that humanity would not be cowed. This ... is unacceptable, Raxel muttered, turning to his officers. They mock us. On Earth, the laughter had become a rallying cry. Across continents, from crowded cities to remote villages, the sound of human joy and defiance filled the airwaves. It was a statement of unity and strength, a refusal to bow to fear. In a broadcast to her people, President Elise Morgan said, "They expected silence or surrender. Instead, they hear our laughter. It is the sound of hope, the sound of a species, unbroken." The fleet's attempts to respond with threats and ultimatums were met with continued calm from Earth. Instead of faltering, humanity's leaders used humor to diffuse tension and expose the fleet's rigidity. Ambassador Vera Chen hosted a diplomatic summit that became a spectacle of contrasts. The fleet's envoys arrived with solemn expressions, their armor gleaming under harsh lights. Chen welcomed them with a warm smile and a twinkle in her eye. When the lead envoy demanded Earth's immediate submission, Chen replied with a grin. "Submission. We prefer collaboration. But if you insist on testing our resolve, prepare to be surprised." The room rippled with tension, but Chen's confident tone held steady. The envoys found themselves disarmed not by force, but by the humans' sheer audacity. Meanwhile, Captain Alina Morrow and her fleet continued their maneuvers in space. The human warships moved with grace and purpose, their crews sharing jokes and stories even as they prepared for the battles ahead. In one tense moment during a training exercise, a junior officer joked over the comms, "If they want to fight, they've got one, but we'll make them laugh first." The phrase quickly became a motto across the fleet. The Galactic Fleet, accustomed to absolute order and control, found humanity's irreverence deeply unsettling. Their rigid command structures struggled to respond to a foe that laughed in the face of danger and uncertainty. Inside the Empyrean, debates raged. Some officers argued for a show of overwhelming force to crush the defiant humans. Others warned that brute force alone would never break a spirit fueled by humor and hope. Admiral Raxel, burdened by the growing uncertainty, ordered a reassessment. "We must understand this species," he commanded. "Laughter is their weapon. We must find its weakness." On Earth, the laughter continued to echo through every channel and corner of society. It became a beacon for allied civilizations watching the conflict unfold. Many species, long oppressed by the Galactic Fleet's tyranny, found inspiration in humanity's fearless joy. The unexpected resistance sparked underground movements across the galaxy, challenging the fleet's authority. Humanity's defiance had awakened a spark far beyond their solar system. As tension mounted, humanity prepared for what might come next. They knew the fleet would not retreat quietly, but they also knew their greatest strength was not in weapons alone. It was in their laughter, their creativity, and their unbreakable spirit. General Marcus Hale stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, watching the stars with a steady gaze. "They thought fear would silence us," he said quietly. "But laughter is louder than guns." The galaxy waited, holding its breath. Humanity's defiant laughter had sent a clear message. They would never be intimidated, never be broken, and their fight was only beginning. The Galactic Fleet's commanders had expected a traditional war, overwhelming firepower, and swift capitulation. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy unlike any other. Humanity fought not with rigid doctrine, but with unpredictable tactics born of creativity and resilience. The battlefield became a stage for unorthodox strategies that confounded the fleet's expectations. Captain Elena Morrow stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, her eyes scanning the tactical display. Enemy ships advanced in tight formations, confident in their numbers and weapons. But humanity's fleet did not meet them head-on. Instead, Morrow ordered a series of rapid maneuvers that resembled a carefully choreographed dance more than conventional combat. Human warships used sudden bursts of dark matter propulsion to slip through gaps in the enemy lines, striking at critical points before disappearing into asteroid fields or nebulae. Their attacks were precise and unexpected, targeting command vessels and communication arrays to sow confusion. Meanwhile, Earth's ground forces deployed autonomous drones and robotic units capable of learning and adapting in real time. Machines did not just follow orders, they improvised, creating diversions and traps that turned the fleet's strength against itself. In one notable encounter, a human pilot named Eli Vargas executed a daring raid against a fleet supply ship. Using a combination of humor and skill, Vargas broadcast a message to the enemy. "Hope you packed snacks. This party's just getting started." His strike disabled the supply ship's engines and left it drifting, a clear sign that humanity's defiance was more than words. The Galactic Fleet grew increasingly frustrated. Their usual tactics failed to break the human spirit or their lines. Every time the fleet tried to enforce control with overwhelming force, humans found ways to exploit weaknesses, adapt, and retaliate. On Earth, the scientific community worked closely with the military to develop new tools. They created electromagnetic pulse fields that disrupted enemy sensors, cloaking devices that bent light and radar, and cyber warfare programs that infiltrated and scrambled fleet systems. The fleet's rigid command structure struggled against a foe that thrived on flexibility. Humans made use of humor and morale as weapons, keeping their crew spirits high even in the darkest moments. Ambassador Vera Chen continued diplomatic efforts, leveraging humanity's growing reputation to build alliances with other species. Wary of the Galactic Fleet's dominance, these new partnerships brought fresh resources, knowledge, and strategic advantages to Earth's cause. The fleet's admirals debated endlessly. Some called for an all-out assault to crush humanity before their influence spread. Others feared that escalating violence would only strengthen the human resolve and inspire rebellion across the galaxy. Admiral Raxel, still haunted by the laughter that echoed through his halls, convened a secret council. "We must find a way to break their spirit," he insisted. Not just their ships, but humanity's spirit was unbreakable. Their laughter, once a simple act of defiance, had become a symbol of resistance and hope. It fueled their unconventional warfare and united their people in one daring operation. Human forces infiltrated a fleet outpost to broadcast a message of hope and unity directly to the fleet's occupied territories. The transmission encouraged oppressed species to rise and join the fight for freedom. The impact was immediate and profound. Rebellions sparked across distant star systems, stretching the fleet's resources thin. Back on Earth, General Marcus Hale prepared his forces for the inevitable escalation. "We're not just fighting for survival," he said to his officers. "We're fighting to change the galaxy. And we'll do it with courage, cunning, and laughter." As the conflict unfolded, it became clear. This war was unlike any other. It was a battle for the soul of the galaxy, where humanity's greatest weapons were not only their advanced technology, but their relentless spirit and defiant laughter. The fleet had underestimated humanity. They had awakened a force that would not be silenced. A force ready to reshape the stars. The relentless dance of battle continued, but something was shifting. The Galactic Fleet, once certain of their dominance, now faced an enemy that had not only adapted but inspired change across the stars. Humanity's defiant laughter echoed far beyond Earth, igniting hope and rebellion within the fleet's occupied systems. On the bridge of the Endeavor, Commander Alina Morrow studied the LATEST intelligence reports. Rebel forces in distant star systems had begun coordinating with Earth, attacking supply lines and communication hubs. The Galactic Fleet's grip was loosening. "This is what we needed," Morrow said, her voice calm but resolute. "The galaxy is waking up." General Marcus Hale stood nearby, eyes sharp. They never expected a fight that united so many. "This changes everything." The fleet's admirals were growing desperate. They launched heavier assaults, deploying enormous warships designed to crush opposition with overwhelming firepower. But humanity's fleet remained agile, striking swiftly and retreating before the enemy could respond. Earth's scientists unveiled a new breakthrough: quantum disruption fields capable of destabilizing enemy shields and propulsion systems. These fields turned the tide in multiple skirmishes, allowing human warships to disable dreadnoughts thought invincible. Meanwhile, Ambassador Vera Chen's diplomatic efforts bore fruit. Several alien civilizations previously aligned with the Galactic Council out of fear openly declared support for humanity. They saw in Earth's defiance a chance to reclaim their own freedom. During a pivotal battle near the Outer Rim, human and allied ships coordinated a complex assault on a key fleet stronghold. The assault was bold and risky, relying on precise timing and trust between disparate forces. As the battle unfolded, Captain Eli Vargas once again proved his daring. Piloting a sleek interceptor, he slipped through enemy defenses and delivered a decisive strike on the fleet's command center, broadcasting a message over the chaos. Vargas said with a grin, "This is for every soul who refused to bow." The fleet's command structure faltered. Communications broke down. Confusion spread among their ranks. Admiral Raxel watched in disbelief. How can they keep laughing? How can they keep fighting? His officers were grim. Morale within the fleet was faltering, and whispers of rebellion and surrender began to surface among their ranks. Back on Earth, President Elise Morgan addressed her people. "We face an unprecedented challenge, but we are not alone. The galaxy stands with us, united by hope and courage." Humanity's laughter had become more than defiance. It was a symbol of change. The hope it inspired was contagious, spreading like wildfire across star systems long oppressed by the Galactic Fleet. In quiet moments, Commander Morrow reflected on the journey. "We started with laughter to show we were not afraid of that. Laughter is the heartbeat of a revolution." The Galactic Fleet's era of unquestioned control was ending. The galaxy was awakening, and humanity was leading the charge, as stars blazed with the light of battle. One truth was clear. This was no longer just a war for survival. It was a war for freedom, and humanity's laughter was the battle cry that would echo through history. The momentum was undeniable. What began as humanity's solitary defiance had blossomed into a galaxy-wide movement. Allied fleets from numerous star systems, once subjects of the Galactic Council, now fought side by side with Earth's warships. The Galactic Fleet found itself stretched thin. Their once formidable armada, divided by rebellion and uncertainty. On board the Endeavor, Commander Alina Morrow prepared for a critical mission: to lead the combined fleet in an assault on the Empyrean, the flagship of the Galactic Fleet. The operation was risky but necessary to shatter the command structure that had oppressed countless civilizations. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for every world yearning to be free, Morrow said to her crew, her voice steady but passionate. "Remember, it's our courage and unity that will turn the tide." As the massive fleet assembled near the Empyrean, their formation was a testament to the galaxy's new alliance. Ships of varied designs and origins moved in harmony, communicating with a fluidity born from trust and shared purpose. General Marcus Hale coordinated the ground forces tasked with disabling the Empyrean's defenses from within. "This is more than a battle," he told his officers. "It's the birth of a new era." The assault began with a barrage of quantum disruption fields, overwhelming the Empyrean shields and sending shockwaves through its systems. Human pilots and allied fighters darted through the chaos, striking at critical points. Despite the fleet's desperation, humanity's forces fought with precision and determination. Their laughter over Cum's channels served as a reminder. They were unafraid. Inside the Empyrean, Admiral Raxel struggled to maintain control. The unity and resolve of the Allied forces were unlike anything he had faced before. "They've turned our strength into weakness," he muttered, eyes scanning the damage reports. Amidst the turmoil, Ambassador Vera Chen led a team to infiltrate the flagship, intent on convincing the fleet's leaders to surrender and join the new alliance. Her message was clear. There is no future in oppression, only destruction. Chen's words resonated with some aboard the Empyrean. Officers long disillusioned with the fleet's tyranny quietly signaled their willingness to defect. The seeds of rebellion had taken root even in the heart of the enemy as the battle reached its climax. Captain Eli Vargas led a squadron in a daring assault to disable the Empyrean's main reactor. His ship weaved through enemy fire, his voice steady with resolve, ready to make history. Vargas said, and with a final burst of speed, struck the reactor's core. The explosion rocked the flagship, and the battle's tide turned decisively. The Empyrean was crippled, its command broken, with the flagship's fall. The Galactic fleet's hold on the galaxy shattered. Allied forces surged forward, liberating occupied worlds and rallying more civilizations to the cause. On Earth, celebrations erupted. Streets filled with joyous crowds. Their laughter now a triumphant chorus that echoed through the stars. President Elise Morgan addressed the galaxy. Her words broadcast across the liberated systems. "Together, we have shown that unity, courage, and laughter can overcome even the greatest darkness. This victory belongs to all who dared to believe." Commander Morrow stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, watching the stars with quiet satisfaction. "This is just the beginning," she said. "The galaxy will never be the same." As the Alliance forged a new future, one thing was certain: humanity's Defiant. Laughter had sparked a revolution that would be remembered for generations, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and unity could shine brightest. The fall of the Empyrean was more than a military victory, it was a turning point for the entire galaxy. The Galactic fleet's iron grip had finally been broken, and a new era of cooperation and hope began to take shape. Humanity, once the target of intimidation, had become the beacon of freedom and resilience. Commander Alina Morrow stood on the observation deck of the Endeavor, gazing at the swirling stars beyond the viewport. The fleet's warships now flew alongside countless vessels from allied species, all united by a shared dream. The laughter that once defied fear now celebrated victory and possibility. President Elise Morgan's voice echoed through the fleet's communications channels, her words carrying the weight of history. "Today, we honor those who stood firm and refused to be silenced. Together, we will build a galaxy where every species has the right to live, free, and thrive." Diplomatic missions were already underway to form a new galactic alliance, one founded on mutual respect, cooperation, and the lessons learned from the conflict. Ambassador Vera Chen worked tirelessly, bringing together leaders who had once been enemies, now partners in peace. On Earth, humanity reflected on their journey. The laughter that had echoed through tense moments in space was now a symbol of hope and unity. A reminder that courage often begins with a smile. Communities celebrated, not just for victory, but for the resilience that carried them through. General Marcus Hale addressed the fleet one last time before the Endeavour returned to Earth. We faced a challenge that tested everything we believed. We answered with strength, wit, and laughter. This is the foundation of the future we build. In the aftermath, the Galactic fleet was dismantled, the remaining ships repurposed or integrated into the new Alliance's forces. Former commanders faced tribunals, many choosing to cooperate rather than resist the inevitable change. Yet the galaxy's challenges were far from over. The scars of conflict ran deep, and rebuilding would take time and effort. But with humanity's example leading the way, hope was stronger than ever. Captain Eli Vargas, now a celebrated hero, stood among young recruits. "We laughed at fear," he told them. "Never forget that sometimes the best weapon is a spirit no one can break." The stars twinkled above. A message from the new Galactic Council resonated across space. Unity through diversity, strength. Through laughter, the galaxy had been shaken by war. But it was laughter, the indomitable human spirit that had sparked the dawn of a new age. One where freedom, cooperation, and hope would guide the stars. And so, humanity's defiant laughter became legend, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the light of courage and joy can never be extinguished.